Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Please repeat. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Unless, we do the purport now. Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, text 29, that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, and that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace, however much he may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life. Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested, peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhava yata shantir ashantasya kuta sukham. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakya Shakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripata Mahamande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatayane. So, in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna had a meltdown, great crisis. And in response to that, Krishna is now speaking the 2nd chapter, which is actually a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. The chapter is called Sankhya Yoga. And Sankhya is actually something that the Vaishnavas share with the Brahmavadis, even the Mayavadis. Sankhya means the calculation of material existence, how everything works. So we are in total agreement with the impersonalists when it comes to how to control the senses and detach oneself from matter, not get entangled, etc. And then we reach mukti. But for the impersonalist, mukti is everything. It's the final goal. And that's the point where the differences are very clear, because we know for a Vaishnava, liberation, mukti, stands at the doorstep with folded hands, asking for service. So the Vaishnava are not satisfied simply by being freed from suffering and birth and death, etc. We, as Vaishnava, we want Krishna. We want a personal relationship. And this is the crucial thing with this verse. There are two words in the Sanskrit that are repeated. One is yukta. Yukta means connection. Actually, a derivative from yukta is yoga, which means to connect. And then we have the word shanti and ashanti, which we know means peace. And ashanti means the opposite, unpeaceful. Excuse me. So you see, the connection between connection and peace in this verse is very important. So Srila Prabhupada used an example, a question actually, that we cannot speak about spiritual life until we have understood one thing. And this is the question I wanted to pose, first of all, to if we have any younger persons here around. What is the one thing that we need to understand just to begin spiritual life? Any suggestions? Okay, we do the elders also. What is it we need to understand? Yeah? That's very important, but that comes later. What is the number one thing? Otherwise, this is the key. Huh? Great, fantastic. You just earned yourself a badge. I have two more. We can give it to the wonderful, lovely Kirtaniyas. We have to understand that we are not this body. So that's the process in logic called neti. When we try to find the absolute truth, say it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it's not that. So it's a good beginning to say we are not this body. Then what are we? That's the other question. Don't read the batch. What are we? Yes? Eternal soul. So this is for you. Thank you. So we know theoretically that we are eternal spirit soul. This is one of the first things that Arjuna hears from Krishna. Never was there a time when I didn't exist, when you or any of these kings existed. And never will there be a time where we don't exist. So in this way, Krishna explained to Arjuna that you are eternal spirit soul. For the soul, there is no birth, there is no death. Have he once get into being, he will continue to exist. So this is the one basic problem we have. That's why this is addressed first. Who are we? What are we? Yeah, we are spirit soul. And we all know that it's not so easy to change what we are or what we think we are. That's very hard. But one thing we can do quite easily is to address the second big problem. We have two problems. First problem is we don't know who we are. Second problem is, anyone? Yeah, why? We don't know what to do. So the third and final badge goes to the gentleman here. I can bring more next time. It says here, this is an Om sign, and it says, I am not this body. I am eternal spirit soul. It's very easy. So anyone who sees this have something to think about. However, what we do is more issue for our free will, for our choice. It's not so easy to, after millions and millions of lifetime, thinking that we are whatever body we happen to carry, that we can change. Yes, now I am spirit soul. I know we can understand it theoretically. But the other problem, what to do, we can change very easily. Because regardless if, akamo sarva kamo va moksha kamo daradi tivrena bhakti yogana, whatever type of person you have, if you're full of material desires, have no desires, or just want mukti, whatever, everybody can take up the positive engagement of bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, devotional service, in whatever platform you are. So this is the secret. You can use your free choice to do the right thing, even though you have not yet realized that you are the right thing. You know what I mean? We may still think that I'm Swedish, Danish, Indian, Russian, man, woman, this and that. But all of us, like Mahaprabhu, Kiva, Vipra, Kipanyas, you can be a Shudra, Brahmana, or whatever. Everybody can serve Krishna, right? And that through that service, we will gradually gain more and more insight to who we really are and how we become peaceful and happy. Because if we don't know who we are, how would we know what would make us happy? If we think, I am a pig, and then we think that I will be happy if I get some pig food and some pig lady and some pig children and roll in the mud. This is the conception. And this is the wonderful thing, because the subtle body has the ahankara, the false ego. And the false ego tells you, regardless which body you are in, or if you're in between bodies, you still have a subtle body, tells you, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, instead of Krishna. So this is there in all conditioned species. Then you bring that false ego into a gross body, then all of a sudden it's expanded to comprise, yes, now I am Danish, I am a man, I am a woman, I am young, I am old, whatever it is. You see the point there? Almost like as if there were two different false egos. But there's one fundamental one, very hard wired in our subtle body. That's why it's so difficult to just get rid of that false ego, because it's there in the subtle body. But then you get the gross body, you carry it for some time, and then that body dies, and then you have to lose the gross false ego, so to speak. Then you may not be a man any longer, you may be a woman or a horse or a whatever in the next life, and then you have to develop that kind of gross false ego. So what are we? We are rays of sunshine. Prabhupada used that analogy, metaphor, many times. We have nice weather, we can look up in the sky and we will see there's sunlight everywhere. It's gigantic, So, and we are actually parts and parcels of Krishna. Krishna Nityadas is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we know Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, are Sat, eternal, Chit, fully conscious, and Ananda, full of bliss, right? So are we, but not to the same extent. Krishna, he is Vibhu, he's the big person. Then we are Anu, small ones. It's stated, Chetanas Chetananam, Nitya Nityananam Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam Yovidadatikamam. That amongst all eternal beings, Nitya Nityananam, that are conscious, Chetanas Chetananam, there is one, Eka, in comparison to Bahu, many, that's us, who takes care of everything. He sustains the entire existence. So although Bhagavan is Satchitananda and we are Bhagavan, we are not Bhagavan, we are also Satchitananda, but we are such a small degree, very, very small. So Krishna, he is unlimited eternal existence. Krishna has unlimited consciousness. He's aware of everything, everywhere, in all times. And he is the unlimited reservoir of ananda, spiritual bliss. So the jiva is eternal within the body and conscious what's going on in his or her body, but not on anything else. And there's a little bit of happiness, a little bit of ananda too. Especially if you realize that you are spirit soul. As long as you think you're the body, there is no ananda. There's just some sukha, which is temporary happiness. So Krishna is like the sun. Krishna Surya Sam. Maya Hayandakar. Maya is like darkness. Wherever there is Krishna, there cannot be any darkness. So a conditioned living soul is like a, like a lamp. This little lamp here has a potential of shining, not much compared to the sun, but we can't shine. So what do? Yeah, we flip the switch. There's no light. Why? There's no light. There's something wrong? It's not connected. Okay, let's try it again. Here's a connection. We try the switch. Wow! It's shining! Hari Hari Bol! Fantastic. So, but we try to some or another shine without being properly connected. I mean, we may try to connect to somebody else. Like this. Here we have two conditioned souls with the potential of being connected, right? And like we can do, we get married, or we make a friend, or we get a son or a daughter or a father, and then we connect to one another. So now they are connected, right? Very much connected. But there's no light. There's no light. So what do we do then? Well, Prabhupada's example, we connect to the powerhouse, to the unlimited reservoir of spiritual bliss. Now they both shine, right? Isn't it? So they are still connected to one another, but there's a real connection through the Supreme Personality of God, through His devotional service, through mutual interest. Isn't it lovely? Yeah? So this should be kind of a mental picture. Whatever established relationship you have in this world, it will not be fulfilled unless both are devotees of Krishna. Like that. So we try our best. And compared to the sun, as you saw, this little bulb here is nothing compared to the real sun. There is all the light in the whole universe here. But this is, you can see it, but it's not more than that. So it's not easy to change what we are. From one day to the other, you wake up and, oh, now I'm spirit soul. We have to wake up to that fact gradually. And we can do that by using our free will to engage in the function or duty, the dharma of the spirit soul. And as we have been talking about before, there are different dharmas. I will make it simple and say that the eternal dharma that we share, all of us, we are eternal spirit soul, servant of Krishna. That's our transcendental dharma. But in every body that we take our birth, there had its specific duty, which is designed to the body. And simply by choosing to act according to your dharma, you do make gradual process. This is the, we may call it the slow process that Krishna established. Because we take our birth in this universe, Ananda Maya Bhyasat, everybody's looking for happiness, like that. That's why we work, that's why we go to school, that's why we do so many things. we endeavor and struggle hard to find that happiness. So we can do it in different ways. And the way recommended by the Vedas is to work according to Dharma. Dharma was there in the beginning of the universe, which gives us an opportunity to experience some temporary pleasure or happiness, but it comes with a price. It comes with a struggle. You have to go to the office, you have to go to school, you have to do so many things, and then you will maybe get some. Just like Arjuna, he was making all kinds of arguments in the first chapter, and but Krishna told him on that level that you should do your duty as a warrior. You're a world-class warrior, so you should fight in this war, because either you win the kingdom and you can enjoy the kingdom in this life, or that you will be killed and you will go to the heavenly planets because you did your duty. So this is the reward one gets, basically further entanglement. But it's better than not to do your duty. So I was going to talk a little bit about some levels of our conscious actions, what we choose to do in this world. And maybe we will identify, like they said, was the fairy tale of Cinderella, who the prince came with a glass shoe, and if that glass shoe fit, so I will start from the bottom. I'm pretty sure there's nobody here who fit this description. The lowest of mankind are those who perform ugra karma. Ugra karma, the definition is that these are actions that are extremely harmful and cause a lot of suffering. And these people are motivated by extreme selfishness, greed, or complete disregard for dharma, laws of nature. The way they see themselves, they think, I'm the predator, I'm the exploiter, I'm the only one who matters. Others are merely objects or obstacles. I'm the absolute controller of my environment. You recognize Ishvaro Hamma Hambogi Siddhuvam Balavan Sukhi. I'm the supreme controller. I'm the supreme enjoyer, not Krishna, And I will fight my enemies and I will make friends. And, this is really big demons. They do ugra karma. And before I forget it, because I'm getting old and I have a tendency to forget things, Prabhupada injected in the translation of this verse about the connection. He said, one who is not connected with the Supreme, and then he put in parentheses, in Krishna consciousness. That's not actually there in the Sanskrit, but it's so important to understand. And similarly, in the one of the coming verses, he also inject in Krishna consciousness, because you can actually connect with Krishna in different ways. Kamsa was connected with Krishna. Ravan was connected. Huh? What? Oh, I should stop. Okay, my goodness. Okay. Then we have to do this some other time, I guess. Anyway, so the point is we have to connect to Krishna favorably. So the other levels is just those who do vikarma, and then comes those who have a lot of desire. I work hard for the money, I should enjoy it. And then those who have not desires, they just do it out of duty. And then comes the devotional platform when we do sadhana and we do spontaneous loving service. It's a very interesting perspective. Can't really see the watch from here. So the best thing to connect directly, favorably with Krishna is to chant his names. And that's why we owe so much to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 6 Goswamis, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada, that they introduced us to the Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam, Kalaunasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva, Gatiranyata. So then I can just stop here, and we will connect favorably to the Supreme Lord by being very attentive while chanting and listening to his name. And I've been instructed that we should chant in unison, which was the way that Prabhupada in the early days introduced japa to his new followers, that we chant together for about 15 minutes. I think that's 10, yeah?